Coming up on Let's Get to the Points.
How do you decide between maximizing your return or just going what is optimal at the time?
I've really changed a lot of how I redeem my points and all that. So like, I guess an example I'll give you. Now, a few days ago, I redeemed another 150,000 points for a trip, but this time is to take my family to San Antonio for a trip over the weekend because my daughter was chosen as a finalist for the Mariachi Extravaganza. And while we're not flying there in first class, we're just taking an American Airlines flight from here to Austin, then driving up to San Antonio. It's something that we really want to do. We really want to be there to support her. Much rather spend these 150,000 points for something that I really want to do. And I think that kind of goes more with, optimizing versus maximizing how we use our points.
And later,
Mitch was joking. Etihad is not my favorite airline, just to be clear. They're on my list, remember? Remember that, Mitch? Etihad.
I know.
You're going to have to buy a bleep.
That's a lot of bleeps.
I don't give
now let's get to the points. From Passion for Points, it's Serena. From Travel Sergeant, it's Miguel. From Nicole's Travel Tips, it's Nicole. And from Seat to a Suite, it's Mitch Shannon.
Hi there, and thank you for joining us on Let's Get to the Points audio and video podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Mitch Shannon, joined by my co-hosts, who are what I would say the smartest people I know all around in everything points, miles, and travel. First up, from Passion for Points, it's Serena.
Hi, everyone.
From Travel Sergeant, it's Miguel.
Yeah, what's up?
And from Nicole's Travel Tips, it's Nicole.
Hello.
Please make sure you subscribe now to our YouTube channel, and wherever you watch or listen, please hit the like and subscribe button right now. The video and audio versions are also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Now let's do it. Let's get to the points. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the points and miles, they are so delightful tonight as we get ready for the holidays. Are you guys ready for the holidays?
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the food.
Me too. We are about a week from Thanksgiving and one of the busiest travel times of the year. We hope you've got some great travel plans lined up for this season and that you've got the lowest possible points redemption that you could possibly find. But first tonight, we're going to start with Nicole, and you're going to speak about some redemptions yourself as well. American Airlines, right?
Yeah, good old American Airlines.
Oh, dear.
So Miguel and I are speaking at the Travel More conference in Asheville. I already booked a flight with Allegiant, but I wanted to see if I could get a seat on an American flight. So I looked into it, and my kids are taking a test, and I'm, checking my phone, and I see a flight from Asheville to Miami, 7,500 points. I'm like, okay, let me do it. I put the phone down, go to get my credit card. I come back, it refreshes, and it went to 20-something thousand points. Like that. I've been tracking it since this week, and it just keeps going up. It went to 26, then it went to 27. At one point, it was up to 42,000 points. And we're talking Miami to Charlotte and then Charlotte to Asheville. It's not that long of a flight. So lesson of the day, if you see it, book it, worry about it later. I think Miguel always says that.
Yeah, and I guess what I would add is have your credit card saved on your profile. It makes it quicker too.
All right. So that leads into my other point. I want to talk about maximizing versus optimizing. So my credit card was saved on there. So I had my Amex Platinum, but I wanted to use my Chase Preferred. And so I wanted to change the card. And that's when I had to refresh and the price went. I wanted to maximize by using the best travel card for protections, but for $5.60, honestly, it could have gone on any card. How do you decide between maximizing your return or just going what is optimal at the time? I find myself trying to maximize and sometimes I lose out.
I've really changed a lot of how I redeem my points and all that. And I've kind of gone from maximizing to optimizing. It's like, what do I really need in when I spend my points? So like, I guess an example I'll give you. Last year, I redeemed about 150,000 points to do ANA first class to Japan, but I wasn't able to enter Japan. So I was only at the airport for 5 hours and I came back. Was that maximizing my redemption? Yes, because I got a $20,000 first class flight. But then, that's all I went for the flight. I wasn't able to enjoy the trip. Now, a few days ago, I redeemed another 150,000 points for a trip, but this time is to take my family to San Antonio for a trip over the weekend. because my daughter was chosen as a finalist for the Mariachi Extravaganza. I would say optimizing my points because it's something that we all really want to do. And while we're not flying there in first class, we're just taking an American Airlines flight from here to Austin, then driving up to San Antonio. It's something that we really want to do. We really want to be there to support her in this competition. So 150,000 points got me round trip flights for 7 people, 2 hotel rooms for the weekend. So I would much rather spend these 150,000 points for something that I really want to do and optimize it for the weekend that I need to somewhere I need to be at than to just take a random flight. So I think that kind of goes more with, optimizing versus maximizing how we use our points.
Yeah, my optimizing, maximizing challenge for this week is I got an invitation for another Ink Unlimited card. And usually when you get those invitations in the mail, you scan the QR code, you usually are automatically approved. The thing with using this invitation, you don't get the extra 40,000 points on a referral basis. Do I use the referral link from my husband and risk it for the biscuit to get that additional? Or do I go with a guaranteed approval from the invitation in the mail? That's my challenge this week.
Yeah, I would try to get those extra 40,000.
I would say, Nicole, when it comes to redeeming points, optimizing and maximizing, I really like what Serena says about that. They're your points, do what you want with your points. And that's always kind of been my logic because, since I've been in points and miles over the years, it seems like there's this focus or this drive to get as much like penny out of each point that you possibly can. And while that's great and some people thrive in that, there are other things that I think are important. For example, I just booked us, the family of 4, to go from LA, Singapore, and we did our little Tokyo and Bangkok trip, but I got all 4 of us on the same flight. Normally you can't get 4 seats together, but we had to pay a little bit higher price in points to fly on Singapore. So what was worth it there? All 4 of us flying together and enjoying that, or paying less points by booking it through some other program and then splitting the reservations and having to deal with that. So I think sometimes you've got to really look at it, from this level, not like, oh, how many points am I going to save? And I think a lot of factors go into that, to your point.
Yeah, Serena has been very helpful when it comes to this. And I think the longer you are in points and miles and realizing that, eventually these miles will get replenished, is the more you feel like I don't have to hold on so tight to them because somewhere will come again soon. So thanks, Serena.
Thanks for reminding me too. When you said that, I was thinking, what did I say? So remember, use your points how you want to use them. Don't worry about what other people say. It's very easy to be influenced when you're on Instagram or YouTube and you see all these fancy premium cabins and you want to fly it. And I totally get it because I think we all feel that sometimes, but it's fun to also redeem for the trips that you actually want to take with your family.
All right, Mitch, how would we maximize or optimize holiday travel? It's busy. It's chaotic, but we love it and we hate it. What are your tips, Mitch?
Yeah, that's right, Nicole. Oh, how the mad dash rush of the holiday travels. They're almost here. And I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be crazy. And that's why I'm staying at home.
I am too.
I get to wash all my worries away on a 13-hour economy flight.
I can't wait to hear about that.
The epitome of the stress.
Oh, but it's going to be good for you, Nicole. You're going to really enjoy that. Yeah. But if you're traveling, I've got a couple of tips for you and a couple of reminders before you head out for the holiday season, especially Thanksgiving. So my first tip before you leave on your holiday travel is to make sure that you pack the right credit cards. Maybe you don't ever use your Amex Platinum card, but you're going to want to visit the Centurion Lounge before you depart. So make sure you have it with you. But if you forget, remember you can always use the Amex app to get a QR code to enter the lounge. Now, remember the lounges are going to be very crowded with holiday travelers, so it might make sense to use a priority pass issued by Chase and look for those dining and other experiences you can find at the airport. So you can download the priority pass app now and check out what might be in the airports that you're going to be traveling to, so you can study that a little bit. Also, it might make sense to set up your plan to use your Clear membership that you get with certain Amex cards as well. I know those lines in many of these US airports, they go nuts this time of the year. I've seen cities like Seattle with the security lines out the front door. It might be a good idea to go ahead and get it set up and get it ready, even though you think you may not use it. Now, if the airlines lose your luggage or you have some nasty delays or cancellations, it's important to remember the benefits of some of your travel credit cards. So for example, the Chase Reserve Reserve, American Express Platinum, and Chase Marriott Ritz cards, they offer some of the best protections in these instances. And an example would be the Chase Reserve provides trip delay reimbursement if your trip is delayed for a covered reason for 6 hours or more, or overnight even. You could receive reimbursement up to about $100 a day for necessary incidentals for up to 5 days. And there are many other benefits to that as well. Another note that I want everyone to be aware of is the weather. In most cases, when weather goes bad, like snowstorms, blizzards, etc., most airlines do not provide protections like hotels and other accommodations during these types of issues. The airlines can cancel your flight for weather, and the protections offered to you are very limited. So be thinking of some alternative plans, what you might want to do in case these types of situations do show up. That's why sometimes you'll see airports full of those cot beds that people are sleeping on. Now, if it's a mechanical or other operational issue, yes. But when it comes to weather, you're most likely you're not going to get any compensation. So, you'll be lucky if they're able to get you out on the next flight, because a lot of the flights are full. So if there's a weather cancellation, you are entitled to a full refund, but just be aware what happens next. It's not always clear cut. And then finally, as Serena has taught us in many, many episodes now, be ready to advocate for yourself. It's no secret that this holiday season will be the busiest ever, so look out or watch for those opportunities where there might be some big service failures, and be ready for those. In some cases, they may not even get resolved with the frontline employees. You may need to escalate them to other departments. So if you're traveling to see friends or be with family, good luck. I will say sometimes traveling is the easier part of the trip than dealing with your family over the holidays. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm curious, what tips do you guys have?
Me, pack snacks. Put them right beside your patients. So pack the patients and pack the snacks. Those two things will keep you calm.
So, a reminder, the Chase Ink business cards are very popular right now because they have a high 90,000 sign up bonus. But they carry a 3% foreign transaction fee. So if you're traveling internationally, you don't want to use that card. Bring a card that has no transaction fees on foreign currency transactions.
Definitely made that mistake before.
It's so easy to forget.
Not until you get the bill in the mail.
Yeah, aside from the snacks of your traveling kid, I think they're super important, or candy or anything to keep him entertained. But also, we like to bring activities. So like coloring books, or depending on how old your kids are, but coloring books or other activities are super helpful in traveling while you have a layover, if you have a delay or anything.
So before going to the airport, you want to be prepared, like Mitch says, and we have numerous Clear passes to speed you through security. So Clear is that special line right before TSA PreCheck where you don't have to present your ID. Those lines are much shorter. We have some codes to give out, so leave a comment below if you're interested. This code will give you 3 free months of Clear for you and your family members. So we'll send you the details after you leave a comment below if you're interested.
I remember when I first started this Points and Miles journey and hearing about Clear, I'm like, who would pay for that? Like, you just have to come to the airport 20 minutes earlier, get in the line, and it's fine. But after paying for it and having my kids on it and my husband attached to it, oh my God, it's like you don't ever want to go back. It's like turning left in the airplane. Clear has saved me many times, with too much lounge time, the gate's too far away. I have gotten to the security check line sweating, hyperventilating because I'm running from one gate to the next. And because of Clear, I didn't miss my flight. It's definitely a valuable tool.
Yeah, we just flew back from Orlando because we went to Disneyland this weekend. We used Clear, and even with Clear, it took us 15 to 20 minutes, which is probably on the high side of what I've waited for using Clear. But that airport in Orlando is a cluster.
So's Atlanta.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Atlanta,
gosh.
No, yes.
Yeah.
My flight's going to Atlanta, so I have 3 hours. Oh, dear God.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
So they also had something else that I hadn't seen before at Orlando. So that's a free service that's available at some airports. So with the Clear Reserve, you reserve a time where you're going to go through security. You use the Clear line, but you don't get verified with your identity, with your biometrics. You have to use your ID, but it's just reserving a time slot. You get to the front of the line. So there was the Clear line, there was maybe like 10, 15 people in line, and somebody while they were in line said, let me use the reserve instead and go through this. So yeah, it's just something new that I saw, and it's free. So if you want to look it up to see if they have Clear Reserve at your airport and use that try it out for free.
Yeah, one other thing Clear is good for is going to concert venues, different sporting events. I even had used Clear one time to verify my identity for renting a car. I think Avis has some kind of partnership with Clear, and you can use that to check into. So it's not just for the airport, it's definitely spreading out throughout the different venues. So definitely worth trying these free memberships.
Yeah, and if you're a military or veteran or first responder, they do have discounts, but you have to go in person to one of the kiosks where they have Clear at the airport to get that discount. So they don't have that pricing online anymore, but I believe it was maybe like $100 a year if you're veteran or military first responder.
Oh, and another way that you can get Clear if you're military is with the American Express Platinum card, because they waive the annual fee on that for military members, right?
Yeah, American Express and Chase actually waive like all the annual fees on other cards. So if you're active duty, like you should be getting all these high-end cards that are normally $500, $600, $700 a year because they waive the annual fees for military and spouses, dependents.
All right, guys, those were all some great tips, especially with the Clear. Also, make sure you leave us a comment if you want one of our complimentary Clear memberships, good for 3 months. That'll help get you through all the holiday craziness at the airport as well. All right, thanks, everyone. It's now time to move on to our weekly recap. Okay, it's now time for our weekly recap. We share our tips and insider lessons with you from the stuff that we've recently booked. So we're going to start with Serena, and I've got tears in my eyes. I'm so sad what you're about to share with us. So what happened with Etihad? Something really bad happened, right?
Yeah. This is how I see Miguel. That's how I felt all weekend.
Oh.
Okay, this is an oh dear sad story. Forget Nicole's wins and losses. This is going to be Serena's losses. So back in March, Frequent Miler wrote a blog post about Etihad First Class Apartment Award availability that was pretty widespread for many seats. And I actually booked a flight using Aeroplan miles from Abu Dhabi to London for 6 in my family for winter break. And I built an entire trip around taking this flight. In April, Etihad actually canceled my flight and I spoke to Aeroplan. I talked to a nice rep who actually rebooked for me and everything seemed hunky-dory. In October, I got an email from Aeroplan saying there was a change to my itinerary. Everything looked fine. There was no change. I actually called Etihad and they said my booking looked fine, but I need to select seats. And I said, okay, we'll select seats again. So everything was fine at the end of October. Beginning of November, Frequent Miler wrote another article about this and how some people were experiencing their bookings being canceled. And sadly, I was one of those people affected. The Frequent Miler article noted that Aeroplan would rebook people on Emirates to or from Dubai if there was award availability and also give people an extra 50,000 miles because they understood what a huge problem this was. Some people were affected, some people weren't. And from what I can find out, it seems like everybody who booked in 2024 got canceled because I have a few friends that this happened to as well. And we have our own little support group. So what I did is I looked on Etihad and my booking was gone. Disappeared like it never existed. I looked in Airplan again, gone. I called Etihad. They're actually really easy to get a hold of, very quick. And they said, oh, we don't see it. And then I called Airplan about it. When you call Airplan, you're waiting on hold for 2 hours to get a hold of somebody. So I spent over 2 days, many hours on hold with them because I'm constantly calling them back and forth. So Airplan said, yeah, they couldn't see the reservation either. And it turned out that Etihad just canceled the booking. It seems like they preferred to sell those seats instead of giving them out as awards. So it seems wrong. Like when you tell the average person that this happened, it just seems like a wrong thing that they did. Basically, I didn't have a flight from Abu Dhabi to London. I worked with Aeroplan to see what they can rebook me on. And one rep said, oh, I can rebook you. We'll rebook you. I have 3 seats here on Emirates first class and 3 seats in business class. And this is on a route with the Emirates Game Changer. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So they actually had to go out and buy the tickets for me because there wasn't award availability. So I got the confirmations, I got the PNR codes, and everything looked fine. When I looked up that confirmation number on Emirates, it said the ticket wasn't issued. And that was worried me. And I spoke to Aeroplan, of course, waiting on hold again for 2 hours before I could speak to someone. And they said it looked fine. Call Emirates. I called Emirates. They said, ooh, you need to talk to Aeroplan. I called Aeroplan again, waiting on hold for 2 hours to wait to talk to someone. It took hours for this one nice lady to figure out what was going on. And it turns out that Aeroplan's not allowed to go out and buy revenue tickets from Emirates. It's just not allowed. So, I mean, to them, it looks like it's ticketed. To me, it looked like it was fine. But if I were to go to the airport and check in, I would have not been able to get on that flight. And I'm wondering how many people this happened to where they think they have a booking and they're going to go to the airport and be sorely disappointed. At this point, I was exhausted and depressed. So I decided to just throw in the towel because there was no award availability. They tried looking for me. There was just not a lot. So I just decided to just search on my own. I got all my points back and I got the 50,000 points for each of us. There was all 6 of us. So that's a lot of Aeroplan points in my account now. So I used Seats.Aero to look for replacement flights. And I did book us on an Emirates flight. I decided to scrap London because that's just going to give me bad memories. And so instead we're going to Istanbul and then end up in Vienna. Vienna is our final destination because I have a Park Hyatt Vienna booking because I booked it with pre-devaluation prices. So I wanted to keep that. So that's what happened. So I told my mom and my mom said, oh, I'm sorry this happened to you, but it happens. And she's right. Happens. You win some, you lose some. And, lessons learned from this. I mean, what can we do to avoid said One idea I have is when an award booking seems a little too good to be true, maybe it's a good idea to have a backup flight planned. Use miles from another program. And I don't mean another backup flight on the same carrier. I mean on a totally different airline. Use points where when you cancel, there's no fee. All the US carriers have that, like American Airlines is a good one, United, Southwest, Alaska. Even some airlines have very low cancellation fees, like Air France. It's only $50 if you have to cancel. Emirates, it's between $25 and $75 if you have to cancel. Airlines like Avianca, they can charge up to $200 if you want to cancel. So Avianca is one to avoid as a backup plan. But having backup flights is really good in this game. And then another lesson learned is to also maintain perspective. This year, I flew to Maldives and Bora Bora in the same damn year. And that's because of points and miles. I am so grateful that we have points and miles to take amazing trips like this. It's no sense in crying over this, one booking that went wrong. It's okay. I mean, wherever we fly to, whatever we fly, we're still going to have a great time. I just know it. It's good to flip the narrative. Like, it shouldn't be like I have to find a replacement booking now. Instead, it should be, I get to book a trip with points and miles to another country that I get to see. So instead of I have to, I get to.
That's Peloton right there.
There's my story.
We can take the little sad violin music and put it to some upbeat music. So are you flying business class through Istanbul?
We do have a business class flight from Dubai going to Istanbul. I booked myself in first, though. Everyone else is in business.
Oh my God.
For my husband, I actually booked him using Emirates miles, and I'm going to try to upgrade him to first when we check in. So yeah, I'm flying Emirates from Dubai to Istanbul. I still don't have a flight from Istanbul to Vienna. I'm trying to figure that out. I want to fly Turkish, but it's only a 2-hour flight, so maybe I'll pay cash for it. I don't know.
Fly business and go to the lounge and tell me how nice it is.
I know. The problem is you need Turkish miles to book it. I can't find that award availability anywhere else. I don't have Citi or Capital One miles to transfer to Turkish right now. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
So I got 3 things for you, Serena. So number 1, I got the let's get to the points, this is all I got. Highest threshold award for you.
Thank you. I'll take a shore mic. 2
full days on hold and calling back. That is like, I don't know anyone that would have that type of threshold to deal with what you dealt with. So that shows dedication and loyalty right there. Wow.
Yeah, not easy. I'm multitasking at the same time too. Oh, can I mention something else?
Yeah.
One time I took the phone to the gym. I was on hold with Aeroplan the entire time and I finished my workout and my shower. And I was still on hold with them.
Wow.
So whenever you have a call with Aeroplan, go on with your day.
Wow.
Hot tip right there.
That's
Don't
crazy.
sit around and wait for them to pick up the phone. Just keep doing what you want to do.
So, number 2, I read that same exact article that you read from Frequent Miler. And the way that they made it out in the article was that not only will they rebook you, they will also give you 50,000 points as well. And the way that I read it is like regardless, they're going to rebook you on something. And I guess maybe I missed the part, but it's only if award availability is there, right?
Right. Only if there's award availability. And at this point, I mean, we're 2 months out. There is none, especially for 6 of us, which makes it extremely difficult.
And then one more question for you, and I think you kind of mentioned this, but what Etihad did is they basically canceled these awards because they wanted to sell it. Is that what it was at the end of the day? And they probably should have never released these seats. Have you found out anything more about that? I'm just curious for myself.
Yeah, we don't know. We think that's the reason why. But yeah, we don't know. We think they just want to sell the seats. And you know, with 6 people, I think it's a red flag too. And maybe I could have pushed more and seen if they could have rebooked me. But, you know, I didn't want to go in another month and find out they canceled me again and have to deal with this. I'd rather wash my hands of them, move on with my life. So Etihad is on my list. And if anybody wants to start a class action, I'm for it. But it's okay. I mean, like I said before, this is so small in the grand scheme of things. Like, we're going to have a fun trip regardless.
Yeah, and you got a bonus, what, 300,000 Aeroplan miles out of this?
Right.
I don't think they
I'm probably
do that. That's nice. That's nice.
I guess so. I think I'm going to use those to go to the Seychelles next year. Oh, I also asked them if they would rebook me as a part of this rebooking. I asked if they would rebook me from San Francisco to Dubai to Seychelles and first. They said no, but I tried. I tried.
You went down fighting.
Yeah, I tried to see what I could get.
I keep checking mine now. I keep like logging in. I'm like, if I log in too many times, are they going to notice this?
Anyway, I'm crossing my fingers for you, Nicole, and I'm very excited for you, and I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. I think you're safe. Okay, that's the end of my oh dear sad story. Miguel, do you have something happy to share with us?
Well, not to rub it in, but I booked it in September, and they didn't cancel mine. I got to fly their apartment.
You're making me feel so good.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just turn the knife just a little.
But see, that was one of those times where I spent like 450,000 points on a trip only for the flight. You know, I didn't have to go anywhere.
Right,
But this week, as I mentioned earlier, I did book a family trip to San Antonio for a couple weeks from now. So we could go to this mariachi extravaganza thing where my daughter's a finalist. So I ended up booking a couple flights on Southwest and the rest on American Airlines through British Airways. Now, the total retail for these would have been $2,000 for all of us. And I did book a couple rooms for the weekend at both the Hyatt Regency Riverwalk and the Grand Hyatt Riverwalk. And that's because they didn't have availability. So there will be a switch halfway through the stay. But hey, they're Hyatt. I'm still globalist for the next couple months. So we'll get the free breakfast and free parking and all that. Now, the total for the hotels should have been like $2,300. So in total, this trip for 7 should be $4,600. And instead, I used 9,000 Southwest points, 75,000 Avios, 66,000 Hyatt points. And I did have to pay cash for 2 of the flights because with British Airways, you can only book for people who are in your family group. So you can add 5 other companions to your profile. And that's what you can book for, whether or not you're taking a flight on it. So even though I created new British Airways accounts for other people in my household, if they're new accounts, they have to be on the booking. So there's all these rules that they have, I guess, to discourage points brokers that are out there for booking for other people. But I think it was still a win being able to book most of our flights using points for this mariachi competition that we're going to in San Antonio. So
yeah, that's the beauty about points and miles. Maybe something like this, if you're paying cash, you have to decide, maybe my wife goes with my daughter, maybe I go with my daughter. But the fact that you can take everyone to celebrate in this amazing moment speaks to the significance of why we are doing what we do, why points and miles are so important and so impactful. Now you don't have to choose. Everybody gets to go.
yeah, I mean, if we were paying cash, honestly, that's probably what we would have to have done is one of us gets to go with her and the other one stays back with the kids because, it's just too expensive for all of us to go. But using points, we're able to all go and support her and be there in person. So I think it was a pretty good redemption.
Yeah, and she's going to love seeing all of you guys in the audience too.
I would call that a win.
Speaking of win, I think that's a big win for Miguel, right?
That is a big win.
I like how Nicole says, oh dear.
And that's a big loss for Serena, right?
Well, Serena is both a loss, but she made lemonade out of her lemons.
Yeah.
You see, I did a little transition. Now we're to Nicole's wins and losses. You already got a win and a loss here. So what else do you got, Nicole?
All right. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your wins and losses for this week. I want to just go through a few of them. All right. Our buddy, Eric Pan, said he saved, you're going to love this one, Mitch. He saved $30 on a Spirit flight by buying it in person.
Oh, wow. Good for him. $30 is $30. Yeah.
Chu says, even though his flight to China got canceled, thanks to points and miles, he's having a great time in Japan.
Yeah. I love his footage in Japan.
I saw that. Looks like he's having a real good time.
Yeah, he's having a blast. And this one comes very close to home. This is my sister. You know, families are the hardest to influence. From Realtor Keisha, she said she booked her first free flight thanks to Nicole's travel tip.
I love it.
It
Did
took
you
her
have
2
to
years.
Did you have to walk her through that?
I did not.
Oh, good.
But you know, I want as the
Wow.
bigger sister, I wanted to correct her. Like, you should have done it this way, but like, good job.
Good job, little sis.
So she was able to take my niece on her birthday trip to the Bahamas.
Oh,
Oh, how fun.
You should be so proud.
No big
Yes.
deal.
I am very proud.
Yeah.
And the last one is Nor Woods. I want to thank her because she went to New Zealand and she has a lot of tips. Number 1, check your flight departure and arrival time. She miscalculated her time, got there a day later than she thought, and missed a couple of her excursions.
Oh,
Dear. That's tricky.
yeah.
It is. So because of that, I double checked and I did the same thing. Luckily, we were able to cancel one of our Airbnb days and saved a day, thanks to her. She also let me know you need a visa on entry. So I also was able to get that. So keep sending your wins and losses. We love your tips. They're helpful to us as much as they're helpful to all of our viewers. Thank you so much for sharing them. Keep sharing them. We'll see you on Monday again.
Yeah. I'm so excited for your New Zealand trip, Nicole. You're going to have so much fun.
You're just excited to hear how her coach flight goes. Nicole, do you have Wi-Fi on board? Can you please keep us posted?
I don't know, but trust me, I would be willing to pay for that Wi-Fi.
We
Not
want-
maximizing there. It's all
We want
optimizing.
to play by play as each hour goes by, how your body feels and coach.
Right now, the middle seats are open. So
Oh.
fingers crossed. I
Oh,
booked
nice.
A and C. Hopefully B stays open.
I see a really good reel in your future, where you start out, it's really nice. Then, the next one's like,
Don't talk to me.
you can get creative with it. I can see it. Yeah, it's going to be really good. All right. Thanks, Nicole. It's now time to move on to Ask Us.
Hi, let's get to the points. My wife and I are planning a trip to Dubai in January. We have a lot of credit card points through Chase and Capital One and American Airlines. And we want to know what's the best way to find a good ticket. We've checked out SeatsAero and we've checked out points.me, I believe. But how do we find like these awesome deals that you guys always show, especially in business class? Let me know.
Okay, everyone. Andy is looking for some advice and help on how we can find these great business class seats and deals. And he has come to the right team. Miguel, what do you have for Andy?
Andy, so since you have Capital One miles, I would try looking through Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles program. I think it's a little bit less competitive as far as not as many people booking because not everybody has Capital One or City points to use for Turkish. But from the US to the Middle East, they actually only charge 47,000 miles in business class. So I think that's a great option. I would check on flightconnections.com to see where they fly out of from the US or even Mexico to get to Istanbul and then from Istanbul to Dubai. So I think that's a great option. What do you think, Nicole?
Andy, congrats on your trip. I hear Dubai is an amazing place. My advice would be, even though it might be a little late in the game, you might be able to find availability using American Airlines. You could check Q Suites to see if their availability closer to the time you want to fly. This is more like a risk it for your biscuit kind of thing, but Qatar Q Suites are the best business class in the business. So if you are flexible with your dates, that might be something you want to look into. How about you, Mitch?
Hi, Andy. Thanks for your question. A suggestion I have for you, it's a bit off the most direct path on how to get there, and it's Serena's favorite airline that I have for you. You had mentioned that you have some AA miles, so I'm assuming you have quite a few or enough. But if you're near the East Coast, wherever you are, and you can book a reposition positioning flight pretty easy to like New York Kennedy, Washington Dulles, Chicago, or Toronto, then I'd suggest taking a look at Etihad. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can book via Air Canada, which is the transfer partner of American Express, Chase, and Capital One, all miles that you have, or you can also book them via AA miles as well. And that's what I'm going to focus on with my advice for you. Using our Seats.aero account, I found some space from Dulles, Washington to Abu Dhabi on January 1st, and it's only 70,000 AA miles at about $7 in taxes and fees. This is in business class. Yeah, Abu Dhabi isn't Dubai, but it's pretty close. In fact, it's only going to take you about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at most to get from one to the other. Plus, Etihad is a great alternative to book to Emirates, and then you get to see two cities at once. We've been there a couple of times, and we saw the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi as well. Now, if you're feeling a little bit indulgent, Etihad has a first-class product via Dulles to Abu Dhabi on their 787 Dreamliner. And I did find some award space again with Seats.aero, 115,000 AA miles per person and about $7 taxes and fees. Not directly into Dubai, but a great way to get there with just a little bit of extra effort. Serena, what do you have for Andy?
Hi, Andy. Mitch was joking. Etihad is not my favorite airline, just to be clear. They're on my list, remember? Remember that, Mitch? Etihad.
I know.
I'm gonna have to buy a bleep.
That's a lot of bleeps.
I don't give Okay, so Andy, so 3 options for you. You could look for Qatar Q Suite. You can fly Emirates to Dubai. And another option is Air France, which is a very interesting option. So for Qatar, award availability is really slim nowadays, but you'll want to use the Qatar Q Suite Finder on Seats.aero, and that's located under Tools. And you can either book this with AA miles or with Avios. And for Avios, all the banks transfer to Avios, so you wouldn't have a problem there. For Emirates, when flying Emirates, you want to try to fly on the A380. That's a plane where every seat has direct aisle access in business class, and then there's an onboard bar on the upper deck. With the Boeing 777, it's a 232 configuration, which isn't the best, but I would still book it because it's better than economy, right? So the A380 you'll find most likely leaving from JFK to Dubai. If you use Emirates miles, it'll cost 138,000 miles and $840 in taxes. That's a lot. So instead, the better way is to use Aeroplan miles. It'll cost 103,000 Aeroplan miles and about $60 US. So to find a flight like this, you can use Seats.aero. Under search, origin airport, you can put in EST for East Coast airports, destination DXB for Dubai, departure date. Hopefully you're flexible, so I would choose mid-month in January. And then you can add plus or minus 14 days to have the full coverage for the month. Then search, and then you can sort by business class and look for the ones here with 2 seats. And if you click on the info button, you'll see the flight here. And then this deep link will take you to Air Canada's website to book. So for the Air France option, on Air France, you can fly from Washington Dulles to Paris and then on to Dubai for only 75,000 Air France miles. On the Air France website, you'll want to leave the date blank when you search so you can see the full calendar view. This website has many bugs in it, so if you click on a date and you don't see that 75K award, look at the date before or after, and then you might see it. And so here is an Air France flight that connects in Paris for only 75,000 one way in business class. And with the current Chase transfer bonus to Air France, you'll only need 60,000 points to book this ticket. Another Air France tip, sometimes when you call Air France to book, the rep might actually see 75K even if it's not showing on the website, because I encountered this on one of my bookings. And if you take a closer look at this flight, this route from Washington Dulles will have their new business class seat with the doors, which will be a lot of fun. So good luck, Andy, with your bookings, and keep us posted with what you end up with. Have a great time in Dubai. Nicole and I are actually going to be in Dubai this winter, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And those are some much better options than I gave Serena. So I like your answer a lot better.
Yeah. Forget Etihad.
That's right. And we're not going to even mention the E word around here anymore. Oh, and then real quick, if someone wants Seats.Aero, we got a promo code for them too, right?
That's right. Our promo code is LGTTP20 for $20 off your first year.
It's a great deal. All right. Thanks, everyone. And thank you, Andy, for sending us your video thoughts. It's so easy for you to be on our show. Simply drop us a line on any one of our social media channels or visit our website, letsgettothepoints.com, and we'll answer your question right here. It's almost time for us to head over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house in first class, of course. But before we wrap up, we've got some more questions from you from our website at letsgettothepoints.com. So if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, look for the questions on your screen as we share our best short, quick responses. Tony on Instagram chat asks us, the holidays are almost here. Do you have any recommendations for new credit cards or where to put my spending for all the shopping that I have planned? Ooh, good question. Miguel.
I'd say probably like any new card. Like the holidays is the perfect time to get a new card. Right now, those chasing business cards have like an amazing offer. And if somebody can refer you from your household, I mean, that's a no-brainer. What do you think, Nicole?
Yeah, depending on where your travel plans lie, maybe one of those American Airlines cards to book those Q suites for next year. But Miguel's right. Any card at this point would be a winner. If you're looking to travel somewhere outside of the United States, maybe something that doesn't charge you a transaction fee on foreign purchases. So just keep that in mind. How about you, Serena?
If you fly Southwest and with a companion, it is Southwest Companion Pass season. So think about spending on the Southwest cards if you'd like to go for the Companion Pass. In the show notes, we'll put a link to our Southwest Companion Pass guide if you're interested in looking more into that. You can take a look at those cards. How about you, Mitch?
Great tip, Serena. Tony, I hope I'm on your shopping list because it sounds like you've got a lot of great gifts planned. Not sure how much you're planning to spend, but if you're looking for points and miles, maybe check out one of the Chase Ink cards on our website. Or I'd even look at something that's going to get you 2 times the points on the spending along with the sign-up bonus, like the Capital One Venture X or the Amex Blue Business Plus, which has that targeted sign-up offer that I got for 75,000 bonus points for the 15,000 spend right now. All right, we got the next message from someone asking to be anonymous. And Anonymous says, traveling during the holidays stresses me out. Do you have any travel tips, advice, or gadgets that will get me through having to go to my in-laws for Thanksgiving dinner? Oh dear, Anonymous, that I don't know about that. Miguel.
If you have to fly over there, just say your flight got canceled. I mean, you have to put a little show and actually head to the airport, but just, I guess your flight was canceled. What do you think, Nicole?
Kamala Harris said it best. Don't come. Don't go.
She said that at Disney World too, right?
Yeah. At Disney, she did. Yeah.
She did on Miguel's page.
Right. And if you have to go, I would go with noise canceling headphones. Make sure to use your Dell credit or your business platinum and buy the best noise canceling headphones money can buy. How about you, Serena?
So my biggest trick for getting out of things is saying I have to go to the bathroom. So take your phone, go to the bathroom, and just escape for a little bit. You can take a look at our website on your phone while you're in the bathroom too. Let's get to thepoints.com.
Yes.
How about you, Mitch?
Okay, Anonymous, I've got a great suggestion for you. Chase and GoPuff, they've currently got that $10 monthly credit that you get now between the end of the year. So all you got to do, place a GoPuff order, get some of those little alcohol minis that they sell. Now, these are small enough. You can get them through TSA. They're under 3 ounces, load up on a couple, just don't drink them on the plane because you can't do that. It's illegal to do that. But once you're at your in-laws' house, it's fair game, just drink to your little heart's content with those little minis from GoPuff. That's my advice for you. All right. Final question comes to us from Sarah, and she emailed us and said, hey, gang, I'm over 524 and I've given up on it. What credit cards are good outside of 524 that you recommend? Okay. Quick note for those of you that don't know what Chase 524 rule is. Basically, Chase says that once you have 5 or more personal credit cards from any bank that you've opened in the past 24 months, they will deny you even if you have perfect credit. So Miguel, what do you have to tell Sarah?
I'd say after that, I'd go with like some of those Barclay cards, like the American Airlines ones. They don't really have a 624 rule, but they're kind of next in line. So I would go right after Chase, go into Barclays. What about you, Nicole?
Yeah, Barclays, Citibank also has an AA card. Maybe you could think about doing the Citi Premier card. That's also an option. Or other business cards. Definitely want to stay away from the Capital One business cards because those report to your personal credit. You could look into Amex business cards. That might be an option for you. How about you, Serena?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Amex business cards. That's how I'm getting all my Amex points right now. But also, I've heard reports of people actually still getting approved for the Chase Ink cards, even if they're over 524. So if you're over 524, I think it's still worth a shot applying to see what happens. How about you, Mitch?
Yeah, those are all some great tips. I agree with you guys on the Barclays as well. That AA card, it's a good one. I think it's up to 75,000 bonus points that you can get right now. There's also the City Premier and a bunch of City cards that you can look at as well. You can mix and match a bunch of those cards too. So City's got some pretty good transfer partners too. All right, please keep these questions coming. We love answering them here on our show, and it is so much fun.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates when we release a new episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and leave us a comment below.
Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and send us a DM if you have any thoughts or ideas on our show.
And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, it'd be great if you give us a 5-star review.
That's it for now. I want to thank all of our hosts, Serena from Passion for Points,
Bye, everyone.
Miguel from The Travel Sergeant,
Later.
Nicole from Nicole's Travel Tips,
See you guys next week.
and I'm Mitch Shannon from C to a Suite. Find out more about us at our website, letsgettothepoints.com.
We're going to be off for the holidays next week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving turkey. And while you're filling up on that turkey, make sure to watch our special edition where I show you where my family went to Bora Bora. So as you're filling up on that booze and turkey, make sure you watch our special episode before you fall asleep. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on December 1st.
Let's get to the points.com.